Today's guest is former Navy rescue swimmer Brian Dickinson. In 2011, Brian solo summited Mount Everest. Upon reaching the summit, he became snowblind, and he had to traverse the death zone completely by memory and feel. Brian credits his survival with his time in the Navy and his faith in God. Today, Brian is a best-selling author, public speaker, and motivator. In today's episode, we talk about his time in the military, his preparation for summiting Mount Everest, his near-death experience, the aftermath, and how it has changed his life. Today's guest, Brian Dickinson. For being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know we've been, it's funny because we connected I don't know, 4 months ago or something. Yeah. Like Brian's like the matchmaker, Brian Mitchell. But yeah, no, it's good.
I know then you texted me and I was like, oh yeah, we talked like months ago. So you almost died summiting Mount Everest.
Thanks. I think everyone almost dies summiting Mount Everest.
So tell me about that. So what inspired you to climb Mount Everest?
Well, I've always been wired a little bit differently. Being in the military, jumping out of helicopters. I know we'll talk about that. But once you get out, it's like you have that adventure gap, I think, because you go from like running in the red to like sitting behind a desk. Mm-hmm. So my wife and I moved to the Pacific Northwest up in Washington State. We're getting our master's degrees, and there's a lot of mountains around there. And I grew up kind of in that area, Southern Oregon. Just decided to climb the highest peaks on the 7 continents. Everest is one of them. It's the highest in the world. And yeah, that's where that came about.
So what'd your wife think about when you told her, like, hey, babe, I want to climb Mount Everest?
Well, I didn't tell her directly like that. Like, she wouldn't be surprised because, she married me. She knows who I am. Mm-hmm. And she knows how I'm wired, and she respects that. And I respect how she's wired. I mean, she scrapbooks and like does like things I think are just completely crazy, right? Because we're all wired differently. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when I told her I was going to climb the highest peaks on the 7 continents, she like fast tracked right through that. As she processed, she's like, wait, Everest? I'm like, yeah, but there's like 6 others too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we had a good conversation.
Because I feel like when I think about Mount Everest, what comes to mind is like it's the highest peak, but then also the images you see of like the bodies frozen in the snow along the way up.
Yeah, there's over 300 bodies.
Man, so you started your journey on Mount Everest in 2011. Mm-hmm. So walk me through, what's the preparation? Because I heard it's a big endeavor to get ready.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. Like if you're at sea level and like one day I'm going to climb Everest, you don't just start there. So I mean, I was climbing around the world. Mount Rainier's, in my backyard. So
did you start with Rainier as kind of your first? Okay, I'm going to start prepping for Everest.
Yeah, it's good for getting like the technical details down, getting some training. The majority of Everest climbers from the States are in either Colorado or Washington. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a lot of resources out there. So yeah, I didn't go into it blind. We'll get there.
Man. So you did it in 2011. When did you decide you wanted to accomplish? Well, actually, let's back up. When did you get out of the Navy?
Yeah, officially in 99.
Okay. Man, You look young.
Thanks. So do you.
Thanks. I shaved right before this. I was like, I got to get the baby face.
Yep.
Okay, so you got out in 99, and then you summited Everest in 2011. So what'd you do while you were in the Navy?
I was an aviation rescue swimmer.
Okay.
So it's the guys and girls that jump from helicopters, rescue down pilots, and all that fun stuff.
So whenever you joined the Navy, did you know that that's what you wanted to do, or how did you find yourself in that position? Because it's a very specific field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and back then it was, I don't know, it wasn't in its infancy, but it was a less known field. But there was this movie, Top Gun. I don't know if you heard of that. There's the scenes where, Goose ejects and then the rescue swimmers come in. And that's like the first glimpse really I saw of it, other than like Apollo 13 and that type of stuff, where you're recovering the astronauts. But yeah, no, it looked pretty amazing. And, you go to the recruiter, they try to get you in to do whatever just to fill their quota. And I'm like, nah, I want to do this. So they're like, okay, we'll give you a shot at it.
And so you joined right out of high school?
It's February. So I had to wait for the program.
Man, I feel like that period, like the 80s and 90s, were just pumping out movies to inspire you to join the military. Like
Yeah, we need more of that.
yeah, the Apollo movies. Well, and then I feel like it was just a different time too, because all of your figures that you looked up to were like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all of these just action stars.
Yeah, and all the Navy SEALs was Charlie Sheen.
I know you look back at that now and it's like it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, but it worked.
Yeah. So what was your time like in the Navy? So you joined in early 90s or mid 90s?
93.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was the 90s. You know, no internet or anything, no cell phones, or thank goodness, you know, not a lot of pictures, because that would just get us into trouble. But yeah, did for rescue swimmer school, it's almost 2 years. So you go through SEER, you go through the fleet replacement. So it's a long process, high attrition rate. But got through that, did 2 deployments, the Persian Gulf on the Constellation. And yeah, it was a fun job for my 20s.
So were you good at swimming when you first got in?
You think you are, and then they make sure you are, or you're not. Yeah. So like even in boot camp, was in Orlando, you know, we had dive motivator. So all special operations go like 3, 4 in the morning while everyone else is sleeping, and you're holding bricks over your head in the pool and, you know, doing all that fun stuff. And they're weeding people out. But yeah, once you actually get to SAR school, it's legit.
The water weeds people out quick.
Yeah.
Especially treading water.
Yeah, and it's all about staying calm. You know, if you can just find that calm. You know, some people are just natural sinkers, and I feel bad for them. I'm a floater. Like, especially if you put a full wetsuit on me, all of our SAR gear, everything. A lot of back when I went through, now with water jiu-jitsu is like on the surface. Back when I went through life saving, so if someone attacks you in the water, you know, we'd be blindfolded. They would hit us. The first thing you do is take them deep. And if I have all that gear on, I'm struggling just to get down.
It's like, I can't get myself down. I got to like go all the way and bring you down too.
All right.
So whenever you did your first deployment, that was the Persian Gulf. So what was that like? Did you, sorry about that. Gotta set our phones to silent. That was me. So in the Persian Gulf, did you run any rescue missions out there, or how was that?
Yeah, our squadron, it was like the first night, F-18 hit the deck. Afterburner didn't kick on, so it just floated right off, 60 foot off the front. The dude punched out, and then the afterburner kicked on, came back, almost hit the superstructure. And I know they were like, scrambling. They're going to have to shoot down an aircraft. So, our squadron got that guy as a night rescue. We had a man overboard. I don't know if it's that deployment or the one after, an Iraqi fishing boat sunk, and like 5 days later, the debris and a couple of people were hanging on to like the debris. Half the crew got eaten by sharks. I launched. We didn't know if they were good or bad, so I've got an M240 on them, and can't really. Well, you're a corpsman, when the body is in the water for so long, your skin will start separating from the bone. So to hoist them up 70 feet is probably a bad idea.
So we just start just melting as you're pulling them up.
Yeah, it'd be probably a cool podcast to talk about, but not for the victim. So we launched a boat swimmers around on like a rib, and they had some Marines with shotguns and stuff on. Like, you just never know, right?
Yeah, it's like, all right, are you cool or are you not cool?
Are you even alive? But yeah, they're pretty stoked to be rescued and alive.
Wow. Have you ever thought about what it would be like if you were stranded in the ocean?
I think it'd be pretty cool.
It'd be a good story afterwards.
Yeah, it depends, right? I mean, how long can you make it? I feel like I could make it for some time. But yeah, you see like Castaway and these things, and like that'd be awesome. I love getting off the grid. So this looks like an adventure. This
is as off the grid as I could possibly be.
Yeah. So
you had that Persian Gulf, and then you got back and you had another deployment after that. So how was that one?
It's always different, the second time going around. Now you're kind of more the senior person, and But I also had met my now wife in between that. So that makes it really hard. Like leaving a family, a wife, can't imagine kids at that point, which we didn't have. So it was tough, but it went by one day at a time. Anytime you're in a moment, even like on Everest, every day, every moment seems like forever. But once you're past it, you look back, it's like just a memory. It's a blur.
And then it just goes like, wow, that was 10 years ago. So did you have any interesting rescues on that second one?
Just medevacs, had like a guy on a submarine. We had an emergency surface, and we hovered over and picked him up and got him to safety, just like a heart murmur.
So what was your favorite part about that job?
I mean, like the camaraderie with the people that when you go through such a specialized school, it's pretty wild because you could see us like at a party in San Diego and it's like look like a bunch of frat boys, It's like there's no way those guys are professionals, but once we're on, we're on. You snap, and I think that's just when you're 18, 19 years old and you're put in such a like critical position, and you go through these crazy hard schools, and you just have each other's back. So I think that's always and you're young and you're operating in a helicopter and doing these just amazing things, not even thinking like the harnesses are like going to, permanently like destroy my back. And, we're dropping sonobuoys and, doing all the ASW, anti-submarine warfare, like all this, like things you would never do in real life,
You're just focused on how sick this is.
Right?
You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah. And then you get out and it's like, whoa, nothing compares. So let's go climb Everest.
Yeah. Because, when you're in and you do those things and you're flying in Ospreys or helicopters or doing dives, you're like, man, you get out and then you're in the regular world.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't believe that was like a different lifetime ago in my 20s.
Yeah.
So what made you have the decision to get out of the military or get out of the Navy?
Yeah, I think I was just ready. Some people are wired for that lifestyle. And I think the deployments and leaving, just kind of like, forecasting my own life. Like I'm very much a family person, and being with my girlfriend, wife now. At the time, I just, I don't know, I just didn't want to stay in. I was ready.
Yeah, there's some people who get bullied into, okay, well, I'll do another enlistment by their chiefs. Of like, you're gonna be a bum if you get out. You're not gonna accomplish anything
because they're in.
Misery loves company. So you got out of the Navy. Did you go to college after, or what did you do once you first got out?
I'm a planner, so I was going while I was in. So even on deployment, I'd have a trigonometry book, like teaching myself stuff, or doing the CLEP test, where you test out of courses, and actually, they fly professors out to the carrier. So
oh, really?
Yeah. So I was taking courses while I was in, and then just finished my bachelor's like right when I got out, and then decided to get my MBA, and yeah.
So did you go to school in Washington?
Yeah. So my wife got her master's in social work at University of Washington, and then I was working full time in the high tech industry. So like when I got out, I worked at Space and Naval Warfare doing technology, and then I worked at Expedia when it was part of Microsoft up in Washington, and then Cisco Systems. So I was always working. So I was doing my MBA from University of Phoenix.
So whenever you got out, were there people in your orbit who had done things like climbing Mount Everest or mountaineering that inspired you or put that idea in your head to go do that?
No. No, that's all me.
Wow. So where do you think sparked that interest? Because, it's a big goal, like climbing Mount Everest. People always talk about it. But did it start gradually, or one day were you, I'm going to do this?
I think I think there's when I look back on it, a lot of times you see like you can have these heat maps of how close you came to like certain things, and you bring them together. It's like, okay, kind of like God's plan. I did see the IMAX Everest movie, back in like the 90s. So maybe that was a
That's
seed.
Good old 90s movie.
I know, it's right at the end. But that may have inspired me or planted a seed or something. But what I found, especially as I'm writing, these books, and I'm like unpacking a lot of these boxes that I had, stuffed from my journey, I realized that I've been chasing trauma. So growing up, in a abusive situation and just not a healthy situation, to going through rescue swimmer school where my father figure, who was my grandpa, sorry to hear about your grandpa passing.
Thank you.
Mine was everything. And he ended up shooting himself, like trying to take himself when he found out he had cancer. And so this is through rescue swimmer school. So I had to take emergency leave. So it's like one of the toughest schools. And so just trying to find that mental focus throughout all this. So it's like trauma after trauma. My job in the military was like as traumatic as it gets. Our whole job is to jump from a helicopter to, save someone who's trying to potentially kill us because they're panicked. And then from there, where do I take it? High altitude mountaineering, very traumatic environment. And then my experience. So I think unconsciously I was just going after trauma.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I find like special operations and special forces are getting in these roles because they do have these childhood issues, unhealthy childhood issues that they may or may not have dealt with, may not even be aware of, because it's us, it's normal. But we get in, and first responders as well, because you get in these situations where now you hope you can affect the outcome, make it better for others, kind of be that hero.
Yeah.
And it's taken me, too long to figure that out. But
and you spend your whole or your life being the hero to others and helping others and focusing on others and not maybe necessarily doing that to yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you end up having imposter syndrome and like all these, insecurities and everything else, because those are the voices that have been told to you at an early age that you now have to figure out how to suppress and, stop, break that cycle, which I feel like I've done that pretty well, but it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it ever truly goes away.
Man, when your grandpa committed suicide, how did that affect you when you went home? Do you feel like at that time you were able to process it, or did you have to bottle it up and go back to the pipeline?
Yeah. Well, like, you don't ever talk about your feelings in the military. That's why we have such a problem when people get out and while they're in. So he didn't end up dying.
Oh.
So he shot like through his mouth, and just fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know for him, but I got back and I got to see him like one last time. He ended up passing like before I got to see him again. But
was it due to the cancer or to the injury?
The cancer is what took him.
Oh, man.
So it was pretty fast, but it was tough. But he also, I think he was ashamed when I saw him, and he was like the biggest man in my life, and it was heartbreaking. And I'm young, and I'm confused, but I remember him his last words he told me was, I know what you're going through is really hard, military, but be the best that you can be and do what you have to do. And then I got back to rescue swimmer school, and they actually put me in, it was like a board, mental board or whatever. Like, we don't think you're going to be able to get through this, this is where your mental state. So I repeated what he said. And I think I brought some of the people to tears maybe. And they were like, all right, we'll give you a shot. And then I made it straight through. Wow. And I think I just used that, channeled it, maybe in an unhealthy way for so long, but it gave me what I needed to get through.
Wow. And so that was the last time you saw him before he passed?
Yeah, because after that, I graduated, went to Millington for anti-submarine warfare school, and I was going out, getting stationed. Well, next schools were in San Diego, SEER school and everything. And it was like a week before I was supposed to get out there, which is where he ended up going, because they moved him down to where my uncle is, and yeah, he passed. So just missed him.
Wow. So did it go through the cheek or the upper palate in the mouth, or?
I don't know. I never got that information. All I know is my mom came home, saw him, called 911, and they were able to, I don't know.
And then seeing everybody after the attempt, and man, that's rough. So that happens, and you make it through. After you had those deployments, you said with your father it was rough growing up. Was he in the picture? Were your parents together? Or?
Yeah. Whether they should have been or not, that's another story. But yeah, just he was absent a lot.
So I've talked to guys, and a lot of lines that their parents say, it's like, well, we stayed together for the kids. And it's like, well, you shouldn't have.
Their kids are telling you don't.
Yeah. It was not the right choice.
Yeah.
So after you get out of the Navy and you start this hiking journey, when did this mission really start with the goal of summiting Everest? Was this in 2009 or 10, or how'd that process start?
I think it was. I think it was after 2008. I climbed Rainier for the first time and kind of got the bug. And it was miserable because 14,000 feet, it's not a lot of joy, and the weather wasn't great, and it's highly glaciated. But I don't know. It's the good thing about climbing or any marathons or anything, you have short-term memory. So when you're there, it's like, this sucks. And then when you're done, you're like, that was cool. Like, or whatever is a good accomplishment, right? And it's not even the doing, it's the building up to that. So it always seems like that's a lot better. It's even like going to college. It's like, okay, standing up and graduating. Okay, cool. It's an accomplishment, but it's like all those courses.
Yeah. So did you do Rainier alone, or did you have some people?
No, I went with a guided group.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was getting training and just, yeah.
And so whenever you first did that, was that like, okay, this sucks, but I can do this? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's still fun. And I found it was the closest thing to the military because you have that camaraderie, you have some danger. There's a lot of important decision making, and you have all the cool gear.
Yeah.
So, and it's technical, and so I would think I was, again, unconsciously like, okay, this feels normal.
So I've heard, I forgot his name, but I think I watched a documentary a few years ago. I think it was called 14 Peaks, but it was a Nepalian guy who wanted to, I think, do K2 and all of these. And I think watching that, I didn't realize how expensive it was to do these expeditions. Because you think like, oh, I'm going to go hike this mountain, or I'm going to go do this or that. How was that preparation for Everest? Because Everest, I feel like, was that the main goal, like the crown jewel for your hiking career?
I mean, it would be, right? But being on top of the highest peaks of the 7 continents was really it. That was just one piece to that. I had sponsors, and because I ain't got no money.
So did you start, you did Kilimanjaro? Okay, so which one, you did Rainier, and then whenever you started traveling, walk me through.
So Rainier's not even one of them.
Okay.
So Denali's the highest in North America.
So was Denali the first you did? So how was Denali?
Good, and it's a good part of the story because I survived. So I've never summited Denali. I've climbed it 3 times, snowboarded it once. So of the 7 summits, that's the only one I've not stood on top. I've been within 1,000 feet, made a good choice to survive because there was like 60-mile-an-hour winds. We actually went up looking for a solo climber who got blown off the top. So we went up, kind of made a summit attempt, but at the same time looking, the guy just had summit fever, wasn't part of our group. Just walked through ours when we were pinned down for a week at 17,000 feet. C-130s were flying over with the IR, just searching for heat signatures, and they still haven't found them to this day.
Yeah.
So you got to make good choices. But yeah, I could see the summit, so it's like
all right,
close enough.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if I'll do it again, but all right.
Yeah, but I did. I went back a
Oh,
couple times, and yeah, just
And so the prep for that, to a lot of people, myself included, who don't understand.
mhm.
So say you're getting ready for Denali. What's that prep like? Do you have to find a guide service or Sherpas, or walk me through this?
Yeah, no Sherpas on. I mean, unless they're climbing for fun.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've guided twice on just a small group on Denali, and weather's the main thing there. You get a
Okay.
good weather window, great. If not, you come back down and the mountain's still there. You climb another day.
And so you can get to a certain elevation on, say, Denali pretty safely, and then after that, the weather becomes a big factor on if you can go higher or not?
Even so, you fly in from Talkeetna,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little town. You fly in with the plane with the skids on it, and you land on the snow. And then from there, you pull out your expedition. I mean, you have, like, I'm carrying like at least 70 pounds in a pack, and you're towing a sled with another like maybe 50.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of gear. Like you're spending 2 to 3 weeks on the mountain. So you have to prepare for that. And you're acclimating. So you don't just climb straight up. You climb up, you come back down, sleep low, because you'll pass out and die at some point, especially on Everest. That's why they have the death zone. So what that does is it forces your body into oxygen deprived areas, which helps you produce more red blood cells, which carry oxygen. So then you're acclimating. So it's a long process.
Wow. So how tall is Denali?
20,000.
And then Everest is 29.
9.
So in Denali, so you are spending, say on your first expedition out there, how long were you on the mountain?
It's about 2.5 weeks.
Wow. And so you'll climb, so I guess there's established camp areas along.
Yeah, or you. I've been. Is it such a whiteout? Like I'm like we're camping right here, so just kind of got off trail, and it's bulletproof ice. So we have ice screws, for our tents.
Yeah.
In that scenario, so like screwing the tent down so it doesn't like blow off, and
Wow.
it can be pretty brutal.
Wow. And so when you're in that, are you carrying that 50, 60 pounds all the way up, or you're dropping it at each camp?
So a lot of times we're caching, so meaning you bury it and you put like wands with flags, and it can snow so much where I've come down and we couldn't even find our wands that were like 6 feet high in the air when we left. So we're like GPS, like I think it's around here. You just start digging.
Oh man.
So yeah, it's a crazy spot for sure. But yeah, there are more main established camps, but there's not like a ton of people that are climbing either. It's not like
Like a hike in California or something.
right.
So how did you snowboard that at the end just to be like,
No, I have a split board, so I could put skins on it.
Oh,
So it actually helps going up. So you're kind of like skinning, so you're not like snowshoes, stomping. But going down it's brutal. is so bad because I had burned my feet from the friction, and it was like down to the bone. So
Dang.
I got up to close to high camp on that one. I'm like, yeah, I gotta probably not continue on this one. So you learn.
and so that, including the weather windows when you got close to the summit, is what caused you to make the decision not to go all the way?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so exposed up there. It's, it's a mountain. It's not worth it.
Yeah. So you did Denali, and then what was the next one after that?
Kilimanjaro.
So how was Kilimanjaro? Because that's in Africa, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. You should do it. it's a walk up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still at 19,000 feet. I mean, you're up there, but it's,
That one I don't know much about it. Is that still really snowy like the other mountains, or is it not?
you'll get snow up higher. Well, that's what's so cool about it is like the first day you're walking through the jungle and there's literally monkeys and stuff jumping over you. And then you get up in kind of this like, I don't know, like this deserty type area. So you hit these different like ecosystems. And then at the top, summit day, there is a small glacier rim, but you're not really on that. You might have like a snow dusting or something, and that glacier's not going to be there forever. I think they're predicting. I don't even know if it's still there.
So Denali, you had to make some tough decisions on whether to continue or not. Did you feel like you were ever in any danger on Kilimanjaro?
No.
Okay.
the worst thing I think, I mean, you can. I mean, people do get altitude sickness, but I think you're on the mountain long enough. I mean, I cut out like the acclimatization days, and I brought a couple buddies from high school and the Navy.
Okay. So Kilimanjaro is still challenging, but it's a good practice or acclimatization mountain. Okay.
Yeah, and it's cool. And all of these, I didn't want to just do a selfish climb because I was already doing that because I was away from my family and everything else. But I was also visiting orphanages. So every country I went to, I would first have the kids and everyone would get together and like get toys and different things.
Wow.
And then over there, I went to a couple different orphanages and handing out toys and stuff.
And so is that part of working with sponsorships, or is that something you did off on your own?
Yeah, it's just me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you did Kilimanjaro, and then what came after that?
After that was Elbrus, which is the highest peak in Europe. It's in southern Russia, 18,500 feet. It's interesting because it's so dangerous. It's in the Caucasus Range. It's right like on the Georgia border. Super dangerous. From not even the mountain, just the area. And I brought my wife, Joanna, and then my my friend and his wife. So we climbed it together. My wife's definitely scared of heights. So she got up to like base camp, and that's kind of where she hung out. But went up and down on that. What's crazy there is you have to take a ski lift because it's like a ski resort until you actually start climbing to get higher. There's competing lifts, and they've actually blown up with dynamite that compete and killed like people. It's like
There Will Be Blood, the oil tycoons battling it out.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, so yeah, I'm on the ski lift, no safety restraints or anything, and I got like multiple expedition bags. I got like a picture of myself, like barely see me.
That's when we just don't think about where you're at. You're just like, all right, we're just gonna go up.
Yep. If I survive the ski lift, then maybe I have a chance on the mountain.
So for that in southern Russia, so did you fly into Moscow or somewhere and then travel?
Sort of. We first went to St. Petersburg, spent a couple of days, and we took a train to Moscow, which was cool. I just slept on that. And then from there, a flight to Mineral Vody, which is a little town right there on the southern border.
So it's on our travel list to eventually check out Russia. How was Russia when you went?
The higher up you get, I mean, the mountains are amazing down low, but like St. Peter, there's just so much history there. And like even in Moscow, just all the architecture and everything. It's cool. It's just the people are interesting.
I know. I learned a long time, or not recently, when I meet Russians, I'm like, oh, hello, how are you doing? Not the culture.
Yeah. And we even asked that. We're like, how come no one smiles here? They're always thinking it's a weakness, It's like, oh, really?
Yeah, different cultures.
Yeah.
So were there was that one a pretty smooth climb in Russia?
Yeah, for the most part. It's very corrupt. So like when you're driving over there, the police will just like pull you over. You just shake their hand with some rubles, money, and they let you go. Same going up the lift.
Really?
Yeah. When we went up, like,
and they can spot you a mile away, like, oh, that guy is a tourist.
Yeah. He's smiling. He's got the rubles.
Wow. And so how long was that trip?
I think we were gone like 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And the climb itself is, you don't even like have to have a harness or anything. If you fall, it's just embarrassing.
And so these first 3 hikes, did you do all these the same year, or were they spread out?
Yeah, so that's how I sold it to my wife, was I'm going to do just one a year. And then then it's like, well, it didn't make sense because northern, southern hemisphere. So you can only usually climb like one or the other. So then I can just combine them both. So this started getting a lot faster than she was expecting.
Because then you start rationalizing it, like, well, this makes more sense.
Yeah, exactly. Use those seer tactics.
Yep. So you did that 3rd hike. So what's the 4th one?
Everest.
All right. So walk me through the preparation. So first off, how do you get sponsors for doing something like this?
Oh, you gotta beg and have thick skin and just be ready for rejection.
And so you're reaching out to like hiking companies or gear suppliers or people like that?
Oh yeah, anyone. And, as long as I, value what they believe in. But yeah, and a lot of it, I mean, it can make the most sense in the world to you if it's not like a part of their marketing plan, and they've already allocated their budget. Like everyone will send me free gear, like and food and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. I need that. But as far as like financial, it really came down to relationships. I was working at Cisco Systems at the time and just talking to them. So that, like they partnered with a bunch of high tech and like helped give me some money. And I was also showcasing their technology. One of the orphanages in Kathmandu, like they had like a tablet at the time and like 3G connection. And I think it was the science guy. Is that his name?
Bill Nye?
Yeah, I think he was part of it.
Bill Nye was out there?
No, he was. I coordinated orphanages all around the world at the same time to have the science guy do it was like using popsicle sticks to like make, fun things. But
was the orphanages, was that just volunteer, just a thing you're passionate about during this time period?
Yeah, I was just brainstorming, like, what can I do? How can I give back during this and just to reach people? And, my faith is strong. So, just trying to, I don't know, represent being a okay guy.
So I think when I was reading, I was trying to understand the sponsorships because I think you have to get a permit from the Nepal government as well. That's 10,000 or so or more.
Yeah.
So for these sponsorships, do these companies just allocate portions of their budget for people who are going to hike Everest, or do you have to do some marketing for them if you're going to hike it, or how does that relationship balance out?
I think I'm a good sponsoree. Like I'll always represent the heck out. And for mine, I was doing multiple talks after I got back.
Okay.
And prior and even during. So yeah, it depends. I mean, some people, they just have, companies will have extra money and they know someone and like, yeah, sure. Like even Denali, there's a company called Denali, sponsored all my Denali trips. I think my Antarctica one as well. And they never really asked for anything, but I gave them plenty of pictures. And I know there's a big picture of me in their corporate when you walk in and stuff.
Wow. So before we get rolling in the Everest journey, so you're a Christian. Did you find that faith early? Did you grow up in the church, or where'd that come along at?
So I grew up, I guess, Lutheran, which is like Catholic light. And that's from my mom's side. And I wouldn't say it was a good experience. The church shared the parking lot with the local bar. So they would drop...
You just got the temptation right out the door.
Well, they would drop us off, and then, we'd be me and my brother and sister be there. So, I don't know. It wasn't that great. And then, but you remember in boot camp, like on Sundays, you could either like work out or something, or you could go to church. Churches were like packed.
Yeah.
So I'd go to church, and then, yeah, it's just kind of this journey. And then my wife is a strong Christian. She grew up Southern Baptist. So we were like pretty extreme. And, but yeah, we found a church as we were just dealing, because she lost her dad right when we met, had a brain tumor. So we both lost our father figures, and we just kind of like unhealthily, coming from unhealthy backgrounds, just really clung.
And how'd y'all meet?
In the hot tub.
Really?
Yep.
At a hotel traveling, or?
No. So she was going to San Diego State, and me and a couple of the Navy guys were living near San Diego State, and in the hot tub. So fun story. She loves it when I tell this. So the place, these townhouses had, we might have been the only guys in this whole thing, and because we talked our way into it. But my balcony had a view of the pool, and I had a kegerator out there and a karaoke machine and a spotlight.
Oh, you had the game plan dialed in.
So yeah, so I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of girls at the pool. So we cruised down. I had a pitcher of beer, And it was like the water was leveled off in the hot tub, and she's in there and I could barely look at her because she's so pretty. And and one of them asked, like, what do you do? And, when you're in the military, you don't tell anyone you're in the military. So I'm like, I'm a plumber. And I stood up and my shorts are like hanging down and my butt cheeks hanging out. And they're like, oh, you're so funny. And then Joanna, my wife now, she's like, you're a jerk. I was like, whoa, I like this one.
She's calling me on my shit. Who is this?
Right. So, yep. From there, it's history.
Wow. And how long have y'all been married?
We just hit 24, 30, something together.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So you got the sponsors. Was it hard getting the permit for Everest?
No, because I was going independent, which means I wasn't part of a big group. Mm-hmm. But I had a friend who went to my church who was a guide.
Okay.
And guided over there, more like the treks, not the climb itself. But yeah, he had an in, so I went through him, and he was able to figure all that stuff out. But it was a lot cheaper than the price tags you'll see normally, just because I was independent.
And is it, because there's probably a lot of people who want to attempt, is it kind of a lottery system, or is it hard to get a permit, or is there a wait list?
So if you've ever seen crowds on Everest,
yeah.
So I know they're trying to figure that one out. That wasn't my experience, but it's not a lottery. But now they have a lot more rules in place, and you got to figure Nepal's the poorest country in the world. Tourism is the biggest portion of their GDP, so they could care, for the most part. It's like, come over and climb. I mean, treks and everything else. Everest is just one mountain.
Yeah.
But I know on the Tibet side, it's a little bit more strenuous.
Because is it bordered with, what are the borders? Is it China that it borders?
Yeah, Tibet.
Oh, okay, Tibet. So after you get that, there's the solo going with the guide, and there's the big, because that's what I've seen. It's like the big conga lines of people on Everest. So you chose to go with just one guide?
I have a Sherpa friend, Pasong.
Okay.
Those lines you see, a lot of them aren't even going for the summit. Those are porters that are part of groups that are bringing like oxygen or tents or different things. So a lot of times, and there's only one way up, one way down. So you'll see similar types of traffic on other mountains around the world, but Everest is the biggest. So
because I was reading last night, there was a guy, I can't remember his name now, but there was a controversy about it that he climbed the mountain halfway, I think by Green Boots Cave.
Mm-hmm. That's on the Tibetan side.
And I think more than 40 hikers passed him up and down, but he was sitting and nobody could really get him up. And then he eventually passed away. I think they were communicating on the radio. But I guess at that level, towards the death zone, you can barely support yourself, let alone pull somebody else down.
Yeah, and my rule is if I'm not there, I'm not going to comment because I have been there. And I have been in situations where I've been able to rescue people. And, even on Denali, I had a guy fall through a bottomless crevasse like 3 times, put an anchor system together, get him out. When you're on Everest, it's next level. You can't tell a lot of times, like as a corpsman, it's in the cold, everything else, trying to find a pulse or anything. But someone could be totally fine and they're just zoning. They're taking a break or whatever, but they're not communicating.
Yeah.
Like you'd sit there and like shake them, and you never know. If someone's like calling for help or something and people are passing them by, it's one thing. And a lot of times you think it's another body.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine for anybody who's attempting that, you know that self-rescue is, you have to rely on yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people always ask, like, what can I do to prepare for Everest? I'm like, okay, if you're asking me, then I think we just answered that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, if you can't guide on something like Rainier, if you are not the sharp end of that rope, then you don't belong on some of these other mountains.
Yeah, you really need to practice and work up to that skill.
You need to be in a leadership position, because on a good day, everything's going great. It's still super difficult, but anyone can walk up something and walk back down. Walk up, it's tough. You fall forward. Going down, it's all gravity. Just be safe. Things don't work out that way. Something always goes sideways. And if you can't respond in that moment because you're incompetent, you've now put yourself and others at risk. So That's just my rule.
So you start this journey. Now, were you nervous for Everest as opposed to the other mountains you had summited and climbed?
I think I'm nervous in general.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm nervous. You just keep staring at me over there.
I try to make good eye contact.
No, it's even in my book, Blind Descent, I even chalked it up to, when like you study for a test, you are ready for this test. And then you sit down for that test. It's like, am I ready for this test?
Yeah.
You've done everything you can. Now you need to perform. And it's kind of that same type of feeling.
So when did that nervousness go away? Was it when you're like, you get off the plane and you're, okay, it's game time? Is that when, or?
No, because when you fly in, it's the first time you see Everest, and it's at eye level. Because 30,000 feet, you're like, oh crap. So same with like keynote speaking, it's everything. It's that anxiety leading up, but once you get up and you start talking, it goes away, and now you just stand and deliver. Same type of thing. I think it's once it's boots on the ground and you're there, then things become, I don't know, more real.
Wow. And so the Everest, how long from landing to getting out of there? How long was that?
2 months.
2 months. Okay. So you land. Walk me through the day by day. What was that timeline like?
Yeah. So first you go into Kathmandu, and then from there you fly up to Lukla, which is the highest, shortest, most dangerous airport in the world. It's just this little landing pad. It's pretty wild. Like you're just flying through the Himalayas, and then it's like, well, we're gonna land there. And the pilot's is crazy because he was reading the newspaper, and then he puts it down. I got a picture of him. This is not good.
That would weed me out right there. All right, I'm not going.
But yeah, you get there, and then it's a week and a half just hiking for 38 miles on foot to get just to base camp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you're acclimating that whole time.
So 38 miles from the airport to base camp, and you have to bring enough supplies for the entire journey, or really to make it to base camp?
No, the entire. So, but that's where you have Sherpa porters. So they're just going to base camp.
And so that's what a lot of those pictures are of those people in those big lines?
No, they're showing actually on the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, the Khumbu Valley, it's long, and people are going to like different treks, different mountains, and different things. So there's...
And that's just really transit, just... Okay.
Yeah, but you're going from like, I don't know, 7,000 to 17,500. So you're getting up there.
Wow.
Yeah, and every little village is just getting grosser and grosser.
Is it like, because like all the travelers, like trash and just things accumulating, you think, or just?
No, it's just when you live at altitude, it's people are getting sick, and people are missing the toilet. There aren't toilets.
So you get to the airport to base camp. What's base camp like when you were there?
It's its own world. Like in my mind, I'd never been there, so I think you always like, if you like talk to someone on the phone, in your mind, you kind of like create a picture of them, and then you see them in real life, and you're like, oh wow, nothing. Yeah, it's kind of the same when I got there, but it's long. It's like a mile long of just tents, not completely all tents. It's a long ways as you're going in, and we were like right up against the Khumbu ice fall, which is the river of flowing ice where our tents were. So we had to go like all the way in. But yeah, it's a village in itself, and most people, that's as far as they go. There's the base camp trek. Most people just go, they touch that, and then they head back down. And
so at that base camp, is it like its own little village? Is there, say, like a headquarters tent, or like a medical tent, like things like that there?
There is a helicopter pad and a medical tent. But for the most part, there's not like an HQ or anything. It's every expedition might have their own little camp.
I got you. So whenever you got to base camp, what did you know? What was different from what you expected? Because I'm envisioning this, because you watch all of the documentaries. What was different about it when you got there?
I think the mountain was on the wrong side. Because I had watched some other just documentaries, and it was probably from like the north side, and we were on the south. So in my mind, everything was like, oh man, okay. And then you can't even see Everest from base camp, because you have to go through like all the mountains and the valleys to get there, because it's still like 5 vertical miles up.
Man. So How long did you guys spend at base camp when you first?
So I actually got sick. So a lama, like a Buddhist monk, had blessed us like down lower. You know, it's like a part of the process. And he was like totally sick, and I was like holding my breath. And inside, they burn yak dung, so like dried poop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like you're breathing all this stuff in, and then I got 17.5 and having a head cold. Yeah, I mean, I'm visibly swollen. It looked like a head edema. So I survived the night. It was like one of the worst nights trying to sleep.
That's the only monk that they have. It's like, hey guys, I'm sick as shit. Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's not like they're about to climb Mount Everest or something.
I know. But yeah, so then the next day I walked out like 15 miles to get down to lower 14,000 feet.
Below base camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I stayed there for a day and then hiked a 20,000 foot peak the next day called Island Peak. So I rallied like super quick.
Wow. So is base camp itself is pretty high altitude?
Yeah, 17,500.
And you said the mountain in Russia was 18,000?
Mm-hmm.
So that entire mountain was just a little bit over base camp for Everest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When I train on Rainier, you know, I can tell people like Everest is 2 Rainiers. You're on this, now add another.
Wow.
And most people are struggling at the top going, nah, I'm good.
So at base camp, so it was just you and your Sherpa.
Yeah. And I was sharing resources with some other climbers.
Okay. And so after base camp, so your loadout, how soon did you expect to get to the summit from base camp?
From there, it's usually a month on the mountain acclimating.
Real?
Yeah.
I was thinking like a week.
Yeah.
So I got no reference point.
Yeah, that's a good way to die. Nice work.
So, wow. So you get to base camp and you're already preparing. It's going to be a month to summit.
Yeah, and I have young kids. I mean, they were like 4 and I don't know, first grade, 7 maybe at that point. So I mean, that's the hardest part, right? It's like I'm not used to not being around. I'm very present when I'm around. So that was a big struggle. My wife was really supportive through all that. It's like, you're there, do what you got to do. It's kind of like marrying what my grandpa had said. But yeah, it's a game of patience.
Wow.
There's a lot of downtime. Like you go up, you climb, you touch a camp, you come back down.
So you get to base camp. That's around 17,000. You went back down because you were sick. The next day, you went above base camp?
So I went out to another village, 15 miles down, and then hiked into Island Peak.
Okay.
And that's a 20,000 foot peak. So it's a safer acclimatization hike. So a lot of Everest climbers will do that, or Lobogé. So they're both like 20,000 feet. So did that, good acclimatization, came back down, then went back to base camp.
And then so to acclimatize, once you got up to that peak, are you hanging out for an hour or two, or you get up there and you immediately start going back down?
Yeah, you don't have much time on top of mountains.
Okay.
Because once you always climb throughout the night, because once the sun comes out, things become very unstable.
Really?
So your crampons, the spikes on your boots, like all your gear, all the anchor points are usually made of aluminum or metal. So those are conductors of heat. So they'll freeze at night, super solid, but they can pull out and avalanches could kick off. So a lot of times it's just headlamp, walking through the night, get to the top, sun is rising, and then like gravity gets you down.
Whoa. So you're climbing up this mountain in the dark with a headlamp.
Which is probably good, right? Because then you can't see what you're... you may not do it.
Yeah, you're right. The sun comes up and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, when you're coming down and like, I went up this?
Wow. So you get up, you come down, and then you go back to base camp. And so now we're probably looking at about a week.
Yeah, and it had already taken, 10 days to get there. So
to base camp.
Yeah. So I'm pretty acclimated at least to 20,000 feet, which is pretty much camp 1 on Everest. So then I can start moving up the mountain if the weather is good.
Wow. So now we're at 10 days. You've acclimated. You're at the base camp. So now what's the next step? I'm guessing there's base camp and there's numbered camps.
Yeah. So the first major and most dangerous obstacle on Everest is right out of base camp. It's the Khumbu Icefall. So it is a river of building size blocks of ice called seracs.
And it's flowing?
It's always moving. Not like where you're watching and they're moving. It's just like every day it's going to look different. Avalanches are kicking off. It's just big chunks of ice that are collapsing. So I went through it, I think 8 times. When it was all said and done, you end up climbing Everest like 5 times before you're done. But this is where you start using a Jumar, which is a device that hooks into rope, which it's basically has backwards teeth, so you don't like fall backwards. So that's why I can solo this type of mountain, because there's fixed lines. So Sherpa guides, myself, we are attaching rope basically from the bottom to the top. There's some sections that are off rope, but now I'm attached pretty much to the mountain. So if I fall, I'm only going to fall to that next anchor point unless I pop that out. And this is also where you see those aluminum ladders that are tied together. There was like 4 ladders, 5 ladders tied together going across these bottomless crevasses.
I've seen some pictures of that. That looks intense.
Yeah. Yeah, you get good at it.
Man. And so are you putting your own line? It's like rock climb, like you're setting your own lines, or are those fixed lines already there? And
Yeah,
you're just attaching.
They should be there. I've pulled some out, or some are, I've had to reset them and stuff, but for the most part, what's cool is on Everest, they have icefall doctors. So like 5 Sherpa that every day they just go through and like kind of make sure everything is set.
Wow.
So you're helping. I don't know if you're paying for that fee, but I gave him a good tip.
And so your Sherpa, did you know him prior to starting?
No, we met on the mountain. Young guy, he'd had a couple summits.
Wow.
And we're still good friends. Yeah, Basung.
And so you get you get to Camp 1 above base camp. How long was that time frame?
As far as how long have I been at?
I guess to get to base camp now, to get to Camp 1, was that done in a day?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're climbing. I left probably at 4 a.m. And just moved efficiently. And each time you get, as you acclimate, you can move faster and you get stronger. But those first times, man, it's slow. It's like 5 seconds between every step. It's slow moving. And if an avalanche kicks, you're just like, get out of the way, but a lot of times it's on the surrounding peaks. So you hear it, you may get dusted by it. But
Wow.
But yeah, you want to move pretty efficient.
So you leave around 4 and you get to base camp, Camp 1 midday or so, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you get to Camp 1. Are you hanging out there another day or two, or how's that?
The first time I hit it, I touched it. We had a snack, and then we went back down.
To base camp. Okay. So you're going, so you said up 8 times. So you're touching it, coming back, touching it, and then you push past it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we were back, I don't know, for maybe 2 or 3 days. Let your body like adjust in the thick air at 17,000 feet. And then from there went back up, and it was actually Easter Sunday that I soloed back up because I was going to go to Camp 2 the next day. But I was up there. I had like a mini laptop, and I had a note or a card from my family that I'd waited. Yeah, you don't want to like open something like that up on Easter. You're completely secluded by yourself, like no one around. It's pretty amazing, but it was just sad, just missing my family. So I just suppress that because it hurts to cry at altitude. So
We're just gonna shove that down deep.
with all the rest. But I had a little laptop, so I watched The Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
So maybe that's a record.
And so now you're at Camp 1. You're pushing past it. During all of this, are you hanging out and taking in the view, or is it like you can't see the view, or what's that like?
Yeah, it comes and goes because when the clouds come in, man, it can be below 0. Once the clouds part, it can be up to like 70, 80 with the sun banking off the ice.
Wow.
It gets hot. And I have a full down suit. At this point, I wasn't wearing that. It's like up at higher, but you can't go hypothermic, so if you start sweating and next thing you're freezing, so you're always like just regulating your own temp. So, but yeah, after that, I went up to Camp 2, which is advanced base camp. That's before you actually, step on the actual mountain and start climbing.
So you're doing all of this to Camp 2, and you haven't even started on the actual mountain yet.
Yeah, it's all
technical.
Yeah. And even then, out of Camp 2, it's Lhotse Face. Lhotse is the 4th highest mountain in the world. You climb up Lhotse, and it's a straight up, ice wall, ice rock, snow to get to high camp on Everest before you actually start moving up to the summit.
So how are you getting up that? Are you having to use ice picks and cleats as you go up, or?
Yeah, so you have crampons. Some areas it's so steep you're front pointing. But for the most part, you're trying to just sidestep up this thing. You have the Jumar or the Ascender. So that's that device. So you slide it up and you have multiple points. So if that thing went loose, I have a locking carabiner as well. It's always attached. But yeah, it's just slow moving.
And so are you carrying oxygen?
Not yet.
Not yet. So they have that already staged at a certain camp?
Yeah, or you're
okay.
like from Camp 2, they might have some stacks and then you start bringing it up.
Oh, okay.
Camp 3, which it's on Lhotse Face, you've seen tents like carved in the side of the mountain. Like that's where it's like close to a mile straight drop. So you always want to be like locked into a rope. And that's where you start using oxygen, supplemental.
So it's all very intense, but at what point did you really lock in and you say, okay, I cannot make any mistakes? Was that around Camp 2? Or was that the whole thing?
Yeah, that's the parking lot. As soon as
I feel like it's hard to grasp the intensity of it for someone who has never.
Yeah, I can imagine. Sorry if I'm not painting a good picture for you. No, but that's a problem, right? Because as soon as you let your guard down, like most accidents like snowboarding and stuff occur in the parking lot because you let your guard down.
Yeah.
And just never let your guard down.
Wow. So Camp 2. So how many camps are there in total before you summit?
So after 3, there's high camp. So Camp 4, and then make your summit attempt.
And then so Camp 3, you're starting to use supplemental oxygen. So for people listening, what does that mean? Like periodically you take it if you need it, or?
No, it just mixes with the outside air, kind of like the World War II pilots, just because as you get up, it just mixes. So if you were to use like 100% compressed, like scuba, and you came off of that, you would just die. So with Everest, anything above 26,000 feet is considered the death zone. So there's a third of the air, a third of the ozone. So you cannot survive. So we're at sea level here. If you pick us up, put us on the top right now, we'll pass out and die.
Yeah.
Just like if you're flying and you lose pressurization, everyone passes out and then you crash. What's interesting is if that happened on the flight home, I would have been the only one to experience the crash.
Oh, that sucks. You're like, oh, you guys aren't acclimated to this? You wusses?
I know, man.
Man, so you get to Camp 3, and what's that time frame between 3 and 4? Because once you hit 4, then it's go time. Then it's...
Yeah, and you don't even leave 3 unless you have like a 5-day weather window.
Okay.
So even I hit Camp 3, slept there one night. One of the regulators wasn't working for a guy that was sharing the tent, and he lit the tent on fire.
How'd that happen?
I'm over here cooking over in like a little vestibule, and we're going to make some freeze-dried something. And he's like not feeling great. He's in his sleeping bag, and he just like kicks over the fire, and it just like whoosh, like like, dude, I'm stomping it out. There's feathers everywhere because his sleeping bag. Like, dang, dude. And he's like, what'd you do? Like, dude, what'd you do?
Wow. How many people do you think were at Camp 3 when you were there?
Just a handful. Yeah, there's not many. But one of the regulators wasn't working, so I just opted to not use oxygen. I'm like, I'll be fine. So I didn't really get that experience until later. But after that, we went all the way back down and waited down in base camp.
So once you got to Camp 3, you went all the way back down?
Yeah, that's your full acclimatization process.
So that's standard?
Should be.
Okay.
Yeah. There's people that do like other things. I don't know.
But that's a good protocol.
I think anyone who's climbing those mountains probably has their own technique or whatever they're going to do. Some believe no oxygen.
Yeah.
Some will do hyperbolic chambers at home and try to like pre-acclimatize.
Who was the first person to solo summit? He was an Italian climber?
Yeah, Mesner.
That's crazy. Was that in the 70s?
I forget.
That's crazy. Anyways, so you get all the way to Camp 3, and now, was that one day it took to get all the way back to base, or was that another few days?
Yeah, getting down's pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a long ways. It's a few miles. It's like maybe 4. And there's one section where it is such a big crevasse. There's 5 ladders tied together. I got a picture of it in the book. And it's pretty wild. When you step on that thing, the whole ladder just like drops and it's swinging.
Oh.
And you just slowly, and you're hooked into ropes. So like if you fall, like hopefully you can get out of it. But there was a Sherpa who just would run across it. Avalanche kicked off, blew him off. And the problem is, actually, when we were there, 2 bodies churned up down at base camp of climbers that had fallen in that one crevasse up at like 21,000 feet 20 years prior.
Whoa.
So how things just churn up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
And the snow and the ice just slowly moved them down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess you get some closure.
So at base camp, say like for that instance, are those bodies retrievable now?
Yeah.
If they're at base camp, you can bring them down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And helicopters can land.
Oh, yeah, at base camp.
Yeah. In fact, we had one do a recovery. A guy died at Camp 2, Advanced Base Camp.
While you were there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What happened?
He died.
Well, I mean, just hypoxia, or you don't really know?
I think he had a heart attack.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, it's interesting too, because you're out in the middle of the Himalayas and it's beautiful, and then you see technology flying around and everyone just stops and it's like...
Well, is this a good idea?
it's just mesmerizing.
Wow.
But yeah, from there you wait at base camp, do all the triangulation of weather back from like Seattle and Sweden, and they can predict, okay, the next 5 days are going to be safe. Time to leave in the morning.
And so whenever you were up at Camp 3, do you still have that capability to get the weather info, or do you have to go back down to base to get it?
We have radios.
Okay. And they communicate it up to you?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but we had to go all the way back anyways, because you still have to acclimate. So just because we touched Camp 3 doesn't mean we're acclimated to it. So we go down. A lot of people will actually leave, go back down to like 14,000, or even helicopter down to way out, because the thick air just...
Really helps you recover.
Yeah.
So now you've made it, you've touched 3, you've gotten back to base. How long do you think you've been on the mountain now?
At least a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you get back to base. How long are you there before you go right back up to 3?
After that, it was maybe like 3 days,
Okay.
3 or 4 days. So yeah, just kind of hanging out, getting antsy.
Yeah. Because you know what's next.
And you're fully acclimated, so you don't want to lose any of that either. So, but yeah, got a weather window and we start moving up.
And so how was that journey back up easier now that you're acclimated?
Yeah, like you just kind of bounce over stuff. It's amazing. Yeah, bypass Camp 1, whereas before you might stay a night there, get right there, hang out at Camp 2, and start moving up.
Wow. So now you're at you get to 3. Did you go right up to 4, or did you stay a night at 3?
Stayed a night at 3. So Pasong met me up later, so I just kind of soloed up.
Okay.
And got up there. Pasong was moving a little slow. So, I asked him and he said he was fine.
Okay.
Just like, I don't know, cruising. So then the next day.
And Pasong is an experience. He's done it.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's had 2 summits and super young. But I mean, I was like 35, 36 at that point. So yeah, the next day we start heading up the rest of Lhotse Face to get to the South Col, which is this saddle between Lhotse, 4th highest peak, and Everest, highest peak. Going up, there was like 70-mile-an-hour winds. So it was like for every step forward, 2 steps back type of thing. So you wait for the wind, you anticipate it, and then you take a step, and it's straight up.
Wow.
A couple guys summited that day because we were getting in a position to try to summit the next day. A famous Japanese climber died at the South Summit. Most people came down because it was just too dangerous up top. But this is a big part of my story because I got about 1,000 feet up above Camp 3, and I stopped to get some water. And it's a system because I have my goggles, I have my mask. You have to take all that stuff off. I put my goggles around my wrist, and I'm anchored off. Like I have the rope, my harness, everything. I'm anchored off to a point, but I'm like on the side of a wall. And as I'm taking my mask off, my foot slips out, and I go to grab the anchor point, and my goggles slip off, and they fall, and I'm thinking I'm screwed.
Oh.
So you don't bring extra gear, like a ton of extra gear. I do now, but I usually wear sunglasses, but with the oxygen mask, there's a strap here and it pushes it out so it doesn't protect. And miracle or what, but I'm watching in slow motion. It's going down for like over a mile, it looks like, and or it would have. But it kind of arced back over, and some Sherpa that were about 500 feet below me. I mean, I'm looking like straight down. They're like waving at me, and I'm waving at them, and they're like, motioning that they got my goggles.
Wow.
So they tied them to the rope. I was hoping they were going to bring them to me, but they were like just going to Camp 3. They're like a higher Camp 3. And so I come off oxygen, like leave all my gear.
So you had to work your way back down and go get it.
Yeah, I wrap down, get to them, and I look at the goggles, and they're cracked on the internal lens. So goggles have two lenses. And, being in the cold, goggles, glasses, whatever, they fog and they'll freeze because of the contrast of your warm breath and the cold outside. Well, mine were freezing between layers. Oh. So I put them on. I could barely see out of my left eye. I eventually ripped out the internal lens, and, hucked that stuff, but not realizing that probably cut their effectiveness in half.
Yeah.
UV protection. So continued up. He continued up before, after we had a conversation, and he made it to the South Col high camp. I eventually made it there in the early afternoon, found our tent, and, just let them know what happened. And we just kind of hung out and made the radio calls down to see how, the weather was going to be. It looked good. It was kind of the same where it's going to be 50-mile-an-hour gusts later in the day. So that's kind of how Everest is, because it's up there in the jet stream, but it'll be calm through the night, which is when you're climbing. Sun rises, and then the wind will come. Wow. So, and that's the goal, right? You get to the top, and then you start heading down.
Yeah.
So we just tried to rest, which is impossible up there in the death zone at 26,000 feet. Like, I'm going to climb Everest. But yeah, once the sun went down, we started heading up.
So that crack in your glasses, whenever you get to high camp, are you thinking like, oh man, this is a deal breaker? Or were you like, okay, it's not that big of an issue right now?
Yeah, I didn't even think twice like that was going to affect, their ability to protect my eyes. The other thing is I'll be climbing through the night. It'll be a headlamp. Right. So I'm not really even thinking about that. Then on the way down.
So now from high camp to summit Mount Everest, how far is that?
It's a mile or so, but it's from 26,000 feet to 29,000 feet.
Okay.
So it's...
And that's the death zone, 26,000.
Yeah, all of that. And that just means there's not enough air up there. If you cut your finger, it won't heal.
Humans can't survive up there without supplementation.
Yeah. Okay. No one should be there.
It's man's own hubris that we're up there.
Don't do it, Corey.
Don't worry, I'm not. I was going to say, I remember I went snowboarding a few years ago, and I think it was somewhere in Denver. And by like night 4 of just snowboarding in Denver, I was like struggling to sleep because I was worn out, not acclimated. So thinking about Everest, I'm like, I can't imagine. So you're at high camp. You just sleep one night?
You don't sleep at all.
Oh, okay.
If you can sleep, I mean, that's great. We didn't. We just kind of hung out because you're leaving at like when the sun sets.
Oh, okay.
Because you're heading out. So yeah, sun went down. We got our crampons on, all of our gear, and we headed up. And at first I wasn't feeling great, and I let him know. And
what do you mean by not feeling great?
Just with AMS, acute mountain sickness, you'll feel headaches, nausea, like all that stuff. So I stopped and I got a little snack and, pounded some water. And you'll usually, because things will freeze, so you'll have like boiling water. And that also keeps you warm and everything. So I have a full down suit. I have all my gear. And that helped. I rallied and just started moving up the mountain and kind of going through these like different switchbacks and, rock sections and stuff. And I was inching away from Pasang, and we had a rendezvous point at the balcony, 27,500 feet. I ended up getting there. It's, middle of the night. There's like an electrical storm in the distance, like below us. It was pretty surreal just to watch. I'm like trying to take some video.
Oh, wow.
An hour later, he shows up and he's like, I'm not feeling good. So at that point, I'm like, okay, do we need to go down? And he's like, no. And I ran out of water.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here, gave him some water. He took a sip and just throws up. I'm like, dude, keep it. And I'm like, seriously, like, do we need to go down? And he's like, no, I'm good. So, you live and die by decisions and you trust the information you have. So we continue. Made it a little bit further up to 28,000 feet, which is where it starts getting technical. And he's like, no, I'm done. I'm going to go back to the balcony and wait for you. And I'll leave an extra oxygen bottle here.
Yeah.
So at that point, I have to consider everything. It's like, how am I doing? I felt strong at this point. Weather was good. Most importantly, how was Pasang?
Yeah.
And he assured me he was good. He was going to wait right there. So he turned and started walking down.
And you felt completely confident at this point.
At this moment, everything was good. He ended up going all the way down to high camp. I didn't know, which is what he needed to do if he was feeling sick. That was totally fine. But yeah, I just didn't think about it after that. We just continued up. We went up.
And it's still probably 2 in the morning or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm the only person on the mountain. So in the Himalayan database, I'm one of 2 to have ever had the mountain to myself on a given day.
Wow.
So it's very surreal. So you see these Congo lines, you called it.
Yeah.
Not my experience.
Wow.
So I'm cruising up, and at this point, it's the South Rock Step. So it's a rock climb, and with spikes on your boots, the crampons, and just trying to go up these fixed lines. And now they don't clean up all the ropes. You have to get into the right rope, otherwise it'll fray. You fall for a mile or more.
Wow.
So it's really critical. So making my way up, and every step is just brutal. And I got to about the top of that, and I look out to my left and just saw the most amazing thing I'll probably ever see in my life. It's this perfect pyramid shadow. The sun is rising behind the highest peak in the world, casting this perfect pyramid shadow over the highest mountains in the world, the Himalayas. Wow. And I took my video out and just anchored sideways, just taking that in, said a couple words, and then my camera froze. I didn't get that footage for like a month later. I'm so glad I did. It's amazing footage. But continued up, got to the South Summit, which it sucks because you think you're there. It drops down, which you're going to have to climb on the way back up. And you go across this area called the Cornice Traverse. It's about maybe 2 feet wide, and it is a 2-mile drop on your left into Nepal and a 2-mile drop on your right into Tibet. So you have options.
Yeah.
So you just continue moving and then get to Hillary Step. It's a 40-foot rock climb, which is usually a point of contention because one way up, one way down.
Yeah.
I had it. It's all me. So I just bounced up that. And that's the first time you can see the true summit.
Yeah.
And it's a long ways. It's not a long ways, but it's going to take a long time to get there. Just slowly, but just surreal, just so hard to process that moment.
Wow.
One of reaching the summit of Everest.
Yeah.
It's huge. But to have it to myself, yeah.
And so at this point, when you're getting closer, what's going through your mind? Are there things going through your mind, or are you just focused on getting there?
Yeah, you're going so slow, but your mind is also working so slow because of oxygen deprivation. But I was doing everything I could to choke down just the emotion, thinking about my family and just everything.
Wow.
So it's a lot.
And up until this point, had you feared that anything would happen to you?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm actually really comfortable. I mean, my job in the military was solo. We jumped from a helicopter. We were one-on-one, one-to-many. I've soloed lots of mountains myself. So I am very comfortable in that. So that wasn't even fazing me.
Okay.
I mean, it's Everest, but
Yeah.
I think if you overthink things, that's never good.
It's definitely on top of Mount Everest is not the place to overthink. Should I be here?
Yeah, should I panic right now?
All right. So now you're getting close to the summit.
Yep. Yeah, and those last few steps, I okay, just because we're raw,
Yeah.
on the Corey Alexander show.
Oh, yeah.
I
Say whatever we want.
So pressure will put pressure, like the pressure of altitude will really put it on your belly too. I had to drop a deuce. So I might have broke the record there. Added a couple inches, if
That's
not
so cool.
if not feet.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But the wind was starting to kick up, so it's hard to go to the bathroom.
Is it just freezing your ass too? While
Yeah, so I have a zipper back flap, so I'm launching, and then the wind's picking up. So I crapped in Nepal, but then as I'd wipe, wiped in Tibet. So
What a thing to put on your checklist. Took a shit at the top of Mount Everest.
right, yeah, who can say that?
Man.
But
So
yeah, finally made it to the top, and just piercing my crampons those last moments. It's crazy because it's small. It's the size of this table.
really?
Any summit's pretty small.
Yeah.
But it's a lot to take in, and I sat down and just kind of just took it in, and then I took out my radio and let people know I was there.
Now, are you carrying a GPS tracker on you when you do this, or to some people, or is it all just radio communication?
Nowadays they probably do.
Yeah.
Radio's tough because there's a bad word, but dead zones. From once you get down until you get around the corner of the balcony. But I had signal up there, and I just said, "This is Brian checking in from the summit of Everest." And just all the different camps, are monitoring the frequency, and just come on and just congratulations.
Wow.
And at that moment, it was interesting because I did have a friend who I'd been climbing with who was a day behind me. He was at Camp 3, and he's like, "Dude, congrats." And he's like, "You and Pasong, be careful. Just give us a call once you get down past the South Summit." And it was at that moment I realized no one knew I was alone.
Oh.
So I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." But Pasong went down a few hours ago.
Yeah.
It's like, "You're alone?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, be careful." Okay. I
Wow.
will. And I talked to him later, he turned to Lakpa, his Sherpa who had 5 summits, who I'd been climbing with. He's like, "How long is it going to take Brian to get down to base camp? When should we hear?" Or not base, but high camp. He's like, "Oh, Brian, maybe 2-3 hours."
Yeah.
And no one would hear from me for 7.
So after you make those radio contacts, while you were on that summit, did you get emotional? What were you thinking while you were taking it all in?
Yeah, it was tough. Even the radio call. I was like, this is my moment, right?
I fucking did it.
Right? I'd this is Brian. Yeah. No, it's really emotional. It's on so many different levels.
And to be there alone.
Yeah. And it's eerie. I mean, even I knew where the Japanese climber, where they had stashed his body, even down lower when I went, there's a little cave and everything. It's
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, but you don't have much time up there. Maybe an hour at the most.
Wow.
You just cannot stick around. And especially that day, no one else is coming up.
So you knew you were it up there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was even looking over on the Tibetan side, anyone coming up? Nope.
So how many, there's been roughly maybe 6,000 or and some change people who have summited Everest. How many?
A lot of them are repeat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how many people do you think have been up there alone to the summit?
I don't know. On a given day, a Himalayan database just shows me and one other.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you spend roughly an hour
Yeah,
at the
if
summit?
that, yeah.
All right, so
Yeah,
now,
time just is so slow. You just know it's okay, I got to go.
and was the sun coming up while you were summiting, or was it already up?
Yeah, well, so that pyramid shadow I saw was the sun rising, but it's like that. So yeah, the sun was there. It's banking off the ice. Having blue eyes, we're more susceptible. Having the cracked goggles, I start heading down, and 5-10 feet into it, everything went completely white.
Just a few feet into descending.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, just cruising down and just went snowblind.
So how do you think that happened so quickly? Do you think sitting down?
No, it's an accumulation. So I've had some time to research it. It's an accumulation. So from the day prior, all of that stuff, the body keeps score. It's my eyes were already damaged. If you look at my book here, my eyes already, that one was already gone. I wasn't even aware of it. That's a summit selfie.
Yeah, in that. Wow.
Yeah, that's.
So you took that selfie at the summit?
Yeah, I got my camera.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's an accumulation, and once it hits, it hits.
And it's just lights are out.
Yeah, well, lights are on because it's.
Oh, yeah.
With snow blindness, it's not black; it's white. It is like bright white. Like if this is a light bulb, it's like you cannot see anything. You can move your finger in front of it.
Wow.
And you'll see like shadows.
Yeah.
But you cannot focus. And I always say it's like if you break potato chips in your eyelids, like you realize how much your eyes flutter.
Yeah.
And you know how like one works with the other. Yeah, I don't recommend it.
Wow. So you get up 5-10 feet, you're starting your descent. So what's your first thought? That your goggles are fogged up or something's wrong? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I like knew right away. Like I've never been snowblind.
Yeah.
But it was, it's pretty, it can be common. I just had never experienced that. I just remember at that moment, just realizing I'm at the highest point in the world. I'm completely alone. No one's coming to get me and I'm blind. And without overthinking it, I stood up and I started moving. And I just one step in front of the other, just slowly, slowly. And I tried so hard to use my eyes. I'd be looking at making sure I'm in the right rope. I knew it was yellow with black stripes. Couldn't see a thing.
Wow.
And the wind was kicking up. I could hear it. Not even realizing I'm using my other senses more, because I'm just trying so hard to use my eyes. And just, yeah, you could feel that panic come in. I mean, that's one thing. My job in the military was to never panic. That was our whole job. That's why I wrote the second book, Calm in the Chaos, because everyone asked that, how didn't you panic? Just to talk about our training. Like they put you in these panic-induced situations, oxygen deprived in the water. So a lot of that came back, just figuring out a reason to take one more step forward. And I remember just thinking, Emily, Jordan, Joanna, step, my kids and my wife, just finding that reason. This whole time, I'd never felt alone. It was just this, I don't know, not eerie, just this peaceful presence. Like if you close your eyes right now, I don't say anything, I'm here.
Yeah.
It's just, I felt that presence and I just kept moving. And I got to the top of Hillary Step, 40-foot rock climb, reversed my gear, start going down, my crampons slip on the ice. I remember just slipping out, kind of pendulum, hit the rock, slide down to like a little balcony, a little snow and ice balcony, and assessing, like, am I broken? I was like, no, I'm okay. And just kind of laying there and finding my thermos, getting some water. And again, just never felt alone. The next area was that Cornice Traverse, that 2-mile drop on each side. And there was 50-mile-an-hour gusts. I could hear them. They're roaring coming from my right to my left. And I would just hunker down, like lower my center of mass. And then I'd get up, take one more step. Then I'd hear it get down. So it was taking like a long time. And then I had to climb up the south summit and got to the top of that. And I didn't want to go. I knew there was snow going straight down from coming up the morning or, hours prior. I didn't want to go down the rock face. And I remember stepping out and I gained purchase with my crampon. And then my other foot, I heard a pop and my crampon like popped loose and flew.
Oh, man.
And I tried stepping on that boot. I'm like, I have to go get that. I can't get down. Slipped out and just head over heels, just fell. I would have fallen for over a mile. The rope shock loaded and I'm upside down and my heart is just racing through my chest. I'm breathing so hard. My oxygen mask is ripped from my face. oxygen bottle. I'm like upside down. It's coming out. I remember how hard it was to right myself and just calm myself. I had to calm my breathing. I was going to have a heart attack. And I remember just seeing like this blurry, like yellow thing. And I climbed up to it and it was my crampon. I'm like, thank God. So I like torqued that thing down, torqued the other one. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going down that. I'm going to go check out that rock climb.
Yeah.
I step over and just the earth just comes out from underneath me at this, steep angle, slab avalanche. It's where you have a heavier piece of snow on top of ice, very common, just slipped out. And I remember grabbing the rope immediately, and it burnt a line through my leather glove. That's how fast I accelerated. But I like stopped myself, and just the same process of just,
oh man,
my heart just racing and just calm, find that calm. So I traversed over, got to the rock area, kind of slid down it, and started walking on this narrow path. And I'm just holding the rope, just one hand in front of the other, coming in and out of the anchor points, and almost walked right past the oxygen bottle that Pasang had left. Totally forgot about it. I knew I was probably going to be out soon.
Yeah.
And I remember going, I lay down next to this like bright orange thing. And I'm, sorry, I'm fumbling around with the regulator and it wouldn't work. So I don't know why to this day, but I grabbed that extra 15 pounds and put that bottle in my pack.
Yeah.
Put my working one back together and just continued going.
Without the extra oxygen or being able to use it.
Right.
Wow.
But now I had the extra 15 pounds.
Because you can't litter. You can't leave it.
Leave no trace. I know. Yeah, it's crazy when you look back. But
That is.
I got to the balcony eventually. And
so this whole time you're just memory and feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting because I was on Anderson Cooper when I got back, and he's like, I went snowblind, or he went blind like that on jet skis in Portugal. And he's like, I couldn't even find the way to the bathroom. He's like,
oh my gosh.
like, well, thanks for comparing.
Yeah, right. Your little ski, your little jet trip.
Yeah, I got to the balcony, 27,500 feet. That's where Pasang was supposed to be. And I remember calling out for him.
Shit.
And nothing. I assumed he went down.
And was there anybody else there?
No. Oh. No. There's probably some bodies right there.
Yeah.
But I remember being kind of happy at this point. It's like I made it through this technical spot. Now it's just like 20 pitches of rappel, switchbacks. Like I can do this.
At that point, when you got there and you're calling out and nobody answered, did you think that there was any chance that he had frozen, that he might have died? Or did you know right away, oh, he made it down?
I never thought about that. When I look back, it's like that probably should have been a thought. But I don't know. I truly just thought he went down.
What's next? Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a snack, got some water, reversed my gear. I start heading down about 20 feet into it. My mask just sucks into my face and ran out of oxygen. And on Everest, if you're using supplemental oxygen, if you run out, it's game over.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to live. And at this point, I'd been climbing for about 33 hours from the day prior to this point. Worst terrain, completely blind. Sorry, I don't know if you cut that stuff out.
Yeah, you need some water? Do you need to take a break? We can take a quick one.
No. Nope, we got a momentum. You got to find out if I live.
I know, right? How's this story end?
And yeah, at that moment, I had been trying so hard to do it on my own, and I reached a point where I couldn't. And I dropped to my knees and just prayed, God, I can't do this alone. Please help. And around the world at that point, my wife, Joanna, was woken up, just felt the need to pray for me. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I had friends doing the same thing. People I didn't even know. They reached out later, like, you don't know me, but I knew you were climbing. And I just felt the need to pray for you at this time. And it maps to this exact time. I say that simple prayer, and it was like someone reached down and picked me up. It was like immediate. Like,
Wow.
God, I can't do this alone. Please help. And I just felt this energy. And the first thing I did, not overthink it, was just try that extra oxygen bottle, and I got a positive flow. And I've never felt anything like this before, but I took 5 deep breaths, and it was like fire re-entering my veins. It was painful.
Yeah.
But I had life. And again, not overthinking it. I just put my gear back. I started back on and started rappelling down as fast as I could, which is super slow. The last thing I want to do was like catch a cramp on. And, but I got to like the last quarter mile, and it's this ice bulge, like bulletproof ice, and there's rocks and stuff. And I'm looking out, I can't see a thing, but I'm seeing blurs, and I'm thinking it's people waving at me. So I'm waving. It was like, at one point I'm like, did I die?
Oh, man.
I'm like, if this is heaven, this sucks.
I can't see shit.
All right. I was lied to. And out of nowhere, Pasong, he just hugs me. I never saw him coming. He's like, Brian, you alive? And my friend who I had called from the summit took a picture at a distance and have that. Such a powerful photo.
Whoa.
Him meeting me. And I'm like, he's like, I'm so sorry I leave you. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, dude.
So you didn't even know you were at camp. You just saw some figures.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were rocks, what I was seeing.
Oh.
As I get closer, it'd be like a rock. I'd trip over it. Like, oh. But then, yeah, out of nowhere, Pasong, he just hugs me. And it's like, and then he helped me get back to camp. I lay down, and he was like helping me get like my crampons off and everything. And
This is at high camp or?
yeah, it's a high camp. And I throw on my camera. He's like, what time you make summit? I'm like, I don't know, like 6:30. He's like, I told you. Like, we're just having a conversation. I can't see a thing.
Yeah, but you didn't predict the second half.
No, he's a good dude. But I passed out for like 15 hours. My eyes were glued shut, just the secretion. I lost 20 pounds.
At high camp, you passed out?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm still in the death zone.
Yeah.
On oxygen now.
So you're not out of danger yet?
No. No, I got some pretty creepy pictures of myself. I guess I kept waking up and like taking selfies, and then I'd just pass back out. Like,
I got to document this.
I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next day, he and I went down, and still like down Lhotse face, and almost stepped right into a crevasse because it's just bright white, can't see a thing. But the first time I got to talk to my wife, Joanna, was at Camp 2, Advanced Base Camp, and where I stayed the night, and had a French-Canadian climber dial her on a sat phone. Mm-hmm. And she had already heard that I had summited just from whatever, the Sherpa grapevine.
Yeah.
And she's like all excited and everything else. And I'm like, Joanna, and there's always a delay with a sat phone. I'm like, I soloed and I'm blind. And then the phone cut out and I couldn't get her back.
Oh, man.
So I own the worst phone call to spouse in history. Do not, anyone listening, do not try to do it.
Yeah, that's it.
So got down to going through like the Khumbu Icefall, going across the ladders. Just, I mean, it was sketchy, but I had, Pasong was with me and got to base camp the next day. And I was able to use a cell phone and call Joanna and talk for like an hour and just talk through it all. And
So whenever you got to high camp and you had that first sleeping 15 hours, you still need supplemental oxygen at that. So they had you on oxygen while you were sleeping? Mm-hmm. And was he just kind of monitoring your O2 levels throughout the night?
No, you set the regulator at a certain, yeah.
Wow. And so from getting to Pasong, 2 or 3 days to get to base camp?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it's 38 miles on foot to get out, and so I didn't regain my eyesight for a month and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. So my one eye came back a little bit sooner, but it was, if you blur your eyes, that was my best vision.
So you're focusing on survival up until like on your way down. At what point did you start to think about, okay, what's going on with my eyes? Am I blind for good? Like, what time did you get out of just focus survival next step mode and then start thinking about everything?
Yeah, it's tough. So in order to survive, I believe I suppressed everything to figure out and I always chalk it up to faith and focus.
Yeah.
I had to focus on one more step. I had to find a reason. Like, yes, I was going to die. Like 100%, no one survives that.
Yeah.
If I was going to die, I was going to do everything I could to survive, find my motivation, do it on my own. I reached a point I couldn't. As a believer, I believe Holy Spirit was there the entire time. Like, yeah, keep trying it on your own, dummy. And like, I know how this ends.
Yeah.
And I reached a point I couldn't.
Wow.
And that was immediate miracle. And once I got to high camp is when the emotion started and didn't stop. As far as like permanently blind, I knew that on a typical snow blindness, you get your eyesight back usually in a day. This was like super severe.
Yeah.
Joanna thought differently. She's like, what if he's never going to see his kids again and everything? Like, I'd never even considered that.
Yeah. Wow. So I guess when you called out to God, whenever you asked for help, up until that point, were there any moments where you were sitting down, bracing against the wind, and you thought, maybe I just don't get up?
It would have been so incredibly peaceful to close my eyes and die.
Yeah.
I've been able to talk to families that have had people that have died on mountains and just let them know that I'm pretty sure it was very peaceful. Like there was no pain. Yeah.
Because it's probably very easy to just close your eyes and let go.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's not part of my plan.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. I have now an eternity to have survivor's guilt and wonder why am I alive? But I know I've been blessed to be able to have conversations and really help people where they're at.
And I mean, your story is such a testament to God and to Jesus. Wow.
Yeah. And I've never been like stand up and, talk about my faith.
Yeah.
This has put me in a role that is very uncomfortable to me because I'm just very subtle. I'm me.
Yeah.
This is my life. I'll never try to take credit for what happened up there.
Wow.
Like I wouldn't be here otherwise.
So whenever you were on your way up, are any of those bodies on Mount Everest visible that you saw?
They try to stash, for the most part, the different bodies. Since I was going up at night, I didn't see any, and I wasn't really looking. On the way down, I could have tripped over bodies for all I know. I couldn't see a thing.
Yeah.
And I know there's more like towards the top, just because you can't recover those bodies.
Wow. Have you talked to any families that have lost people on Everest?
Yeah.
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 Do they find some peace in hearing your story about those, what it's like? Maybe not peace, but...
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the goal. Just to let them know, like, I've been there and just how peaceful it would have been. And for the most part, you know what you're getting into. And most climbers would want to stay there forever.
Wow.
Like, don't risk anyone coming to get me. I wouldn't have wanted that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made a radio call. I had spun the dial on the frequency setting. Wasn't even an option to like call for help.
Wow.
I wouldn't have anyways.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to put someone else at risk. I mean, maybe that's myself just being me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't live with that.
Last night, I was looking at some of the climbers that have passed away on Mount Everest. And it is cool to see where someone passed and it says final resting place, Mount Everest.
Yeah.
What a badass place.
Yeah.
Not saying it's good.
Well, I think that 2 mile, that fall,
Yeah.
if you're going to go,
Yeah.
how cool is that?
And then forever you're immortalized, final resting place, Mount Everest.
Yeah. It's also good to be alive.
It is. So you got down to base camp and now you're hiking back to the airport.
Yeah, to Lukla.
So how was that?
Well, first the Sherpa group down at base camp made me a summit cake.
What's a summit cake?
I don't know.
I couldn't see it.
I have a picture of it, but yeah, I don't know what they used for it. Like it wasn't great, but it was like such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thanks.
Wow.
But yeah, then it was 2 days of hiking out, and it's rocky, and it's not a paved trail. It's yeah, and there's yaks all over, and yeah,
And you can't see, so they're having to help you.
yeah. So the one guy that I had called, he did not make the summit. He came back down, so he was heading out. So it was just the two of us.
And now, so you hit the airport. What's it like getting back to your family after climbing Mount Everest?
Well, even getting back is such a journey because you go from Kathmandu, caught the last flight. I look like I just got my ass kicked. It's like, runner up in an MMA fight, black eyes, all just sucked in, lost 20 pounds. Couldn't see a thing. I fly into Thailand. I got to stay there the night, and I'm just bumping into everyone.
Yeah.
I'm by myself at this point because the dude had to stay in Kathmandu.
Oh.
So I think it was my right eye started coming back a little bit. So it's like blurry, but it's just like, I'm so sorry.
So now you're half blind navigating through Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah, that was brutal. But yeah, and then flew into Taipei and then back home, and flight was delayed, so the kids weren't there when I got home, but Joanna was, and as I'm coming up the escalator and she's there, it was powerful. Yeah, it was a lot of tears, and even seeing my kids as they're sleeping, and I just remember didn't want to wake them up, but I so wanted to, but it's like a school night or something, but the next morning, like, they're just bouncing on the bed. Daddy, daddy, daddy. They're so excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how long until you were able to start really seeing?
It was about a month and a half. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't drive or anything.
So what were those next few months like?
Next few years, it was tough because everyone loves a survival story.
Yeah.
But you usually don't think much about the survivor, what they're going through, and just the trauma. And at this point, like I mentioned, like at the beginning of this, it's chasing trauma.
Yeah.
So this unlocked so much of that. It was just layer after layer. I'd be in the shower, and next thing I'm on the floor just bawling. Man. Like, how did I get here? Just the panic attacks and everything else. And I'm on stage, got like Fox News and stuff at my door and bright lights. I can't see. And next thing I'm on stage, talking, and I'm the resident expert for Everest on the Today Show and different stuff. It's like, what the hell?
Man.
It was tough. And it's like I didn't even have a chance to process initially. It was like, let's just talk about it.
Jeez.
And then I actually came out to Franklin, Tennessee, stayed with Scott Brickle, who's big in the music industry, like Mercy Me and stuff, manager, and stayed at his house. He introduced me to Bill Reeves and Working Title Agency, and there's people that wanted to make a movie like right away.
Yeah.
Like I can't even start to think about that.
It's like, guys, I just survived this.
Yeah.
This isn't like a make-believe story.
Yeah. So that's where I decided to write a book.
Wow.
And it was already, a lot of it was written because Climbing Magazine was following me. So I had like this blog of everything, but then just adding the details in, and Tyndale House picked it up. And
so did you ever go to therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm on medication, and yeah, because it's, you gotta find the tools. You gotta work through it. And writing my second book, Calm in the Chaos, again, it was just reopen these different wounds and things that, I was trained to compartmentalize in the military, never talk about it. Friends that were lost in helicopter crashes and just things you can't unsee. So yeah, it's been a process. Like I'm the healthiest I've been.
Good.
But there's been, well, actually I just became an empty nester. So now it's like, there's a whole another level of depression. Nothing prepares you for. My babies are gone.
Oh man. I can't imagine. It's like, all right, time to climb another mountain.
Yep. Something, right?
Gosh. So afterwards, you're thrust into the spotlight. Do you feel like, how long do you feel like before you start to get a handle on processing this? A few years?
Yeah. yeah, it's like, I think a lot of people that face trauma, whether it's self-inflicted or not, I chose to climb. You don't have to revisit that if you don't want to. And a lot of people don't. I retold my story, and I do. I mean, it's 14 years later, I'm retelling it right now over and over and over. And it's like, it's not getting easier. And telling my story, like I had to revamp instead of being a keynote speaker of just like blah, like barfing out my story. And it's like everyone leaves, oh, that was inspiring.
Yeah.
I've had to revamp it in a way where it's the true story. It's a true story of the miracle, but it's less about me and it's more about the audience because everyone is dealing with something that's real to them. And if you walk away from one of my talks and it's like, that was inspiring, has nothing to do with me. Well, I hope climbing blind on Everest has nothing to do with anyone, but what are you climbing blind? What is your Everest type of thing? Cliche, but how can you glean something from my experience to help you?
Wow. So why do you think this happened to you?
I don't know. I know that there's definitely a pre and post version of me from this climb. And I think I've been able to touch a lot of people, going around and just having these talks and touching people, sharing my faith with groups that you normally wouldn't, because I'm not a preacher. I'm not coming in and like testify. It's like here's my story. I did special ops, military. I've climbed Everest. I've done these things, and then this happened. Yeah, and this is how I survived.
I mean, and it's such a unique, inspiring story. And then being able, I can't imagine it gets easier sharing it and reliving it, but then being able to inspire a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Now there is actually a movie.
Really?
That is in the talks, we'll say.
So it's going to be a movie recounting the event?
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of a blend too. Yeah. Just because even Blind Descent, I talk a lot about my military, and because that's a big part of who I am. And it's that trauma piece. It's the love story of me and my wife and her. I've been so blessed to have her on stage with me a lot of times too, because you can hear my story. Cool. I want to talk to her. Yeah. What's your deal?
How did you deal with this guy?
But I think so many people and, wives or spouses can really learn, because we are wired differently. And if you try to change that, you're not going to be the person that God created you to be. Yeah. The fact that she allows me to be who I am, as difficult as that could be. And in this case, this miracle has brought us even closer. And we're able to, share this testimony from like different perspectives. And her miracle, a lot of times because she has anxiety, she did, have the abandonment of losing her dad, is how she had to stop relying on me for her faith and put her trust in Jesus.
Wow. Have you climbed since?
Yep. Yeah,
Would you climb Mount Everest again?
I think one and done is good on that one.
Yeah.
Just, and it's not even that. Like if my kids ever wanted to do it, I'd probably be easily talked into it. And I've had like friends, a dev crew buddy who wants to do like a documentary, like going into base camp. So I could do something like that, maybe help lead that in. But there's a lot of adventure in this world.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if I would, just from a fear and, you never know. You come back from that. The thing I needed most was to get back out. Yeah. So, and it was the first time I led a group up Rainier, ran into a whiteout. It triggered, put me right back.
Oh, man.
Had to get through that. I'm like, okay, should I not be doing this? And
that's probably like the best exposure therapy.
Right? Yeah. And later that year, I went to Antarctica, climbed the highest peak down there.
Really?
Yeah. It's -70 on the summit. Just amazing. Oh, it's so cool down there, literally. But it was just so pristine, and no one shows up to Antarctica just because everyone's there for a purpose. But yeah, outdoor therapy nature therapy that's what I need. Wow. Like if I have anxiety or anything else, I'm just like, okay, I just need to get out. And it's amazing what that'll do for you.
Gosh. All right. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Like scrapbooking, I think.
Yeah. Just get back from a pee break. So you got back home and you're thrust into the spotlight. So since then, that was 2011.
Yeah.
What's life been like since?
Yeah, it's been unpredictable. I would have never predicted that I'd be a keynote speaker and an author and, potential movie.
Yeah.
Podcast host. Like it's it's definitely, it's interesting because you can fight the plan, make it ours. But it's so not fulfilling.
Yeah.
And it's been hard. I wouldn't wish my life on anyone, but I'm taking it and running with it because I see the good. I've seen the people I've been able to connect with. And it's not even like if I'm talking in front of, hundreds or thousands, it's afterward. The people that have that courage to come up and share something they have not been able to share with anybody.
Yeah.
Just to have that conversation and just, cry together, pray together, just provide hope.
Man. And so with that, because I'm struggling with that too, is often I just talk to God and like, just guide me on what you want me to do, to honor you or to live according to your plan for me. And so it sounds like it's what you're trying to do also.
Trying.
Yeah.
Other people definitely have plans a lot of times, and you have to like take a step back. Like, wait, is this coming from God?
Yeah. So how did the authoring come about? Was that from you wanting to document your story, or did people come to you and want to help you share your story?
No, I wrote all of it. And then with Tyndale House, they have such great editors. They helped me rewrite it like 5 times. So went from like a 5th grade to something that's tangible. I think I've always been an okay writer.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I am, but it's been a blessing just to see the impact that the book and, I've had a bunch of reenactments out there. And
so when did you write the original book?
So Climbing Magazine was following me, had a blog. So I had a lot of the technical stuff documented, the timeline. And I think it was after I'd come out here and met with Scott Prickle and Bill Reeves and everyone, and decided like the best next step is to have a book. Otherwise, Hollywood's going to get a hold of it and it's going to be Pixar cartoon.
They'll make an animated movie out of it. So Blind Descent was your first book. So when did that come out?
I think it was 2014 or 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. Books take a while.
Yeah, I bet. I've always wanted to write a book, but every time I go to write stuff, it's just like 4 pages of a run-on sentence. And then.
And that's perfect. People ask me all the time, like, how do you write a book? Just write.
Yeah.
Do not edit. Just get it out there because it's all in your brain right now. You figure all that later, even like mapping it out. When I wrote Blind Descent, it was very incremental. I went from military experience, and then they're like, why don't we intertwine it? And it flows so much better that way.
Yeah. To mix it in, because it's probably the easiest to go about it timeline-wise. Just dump it all out.
Yeah. A to B.
Yeah. And so then you wrote Blind Descent was your first book. So how did your second book come about?
Yeah, just after 10 years of being on stage, and you hear, because I'll always have like a Q&A, there's always that question of how didn't you panic? Because anyone in the audience is like, they don't know anything about climbing or anything, right? So that I've done, so it's all unique. So in their mind, they would panic.
Yeah.
Well, my job in the military was to never panic. Like those are 60% that get weeded out. So I'm like, there could be something interesting to help individuals that are panicking in their life, whether it's relational, financial, just, anything that's happening in their life. Everyone's panicked.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it to be a book about me. I already got one. I wanted it to be a book about us. There's never been a book on aviation rescue swimmers. There's like some Coast Guard ones, which we did same training, but different mission sets. So I interviewed over 30 different rescue swimmers back from the Apollo 13 recovery to Vietnam, HAL 3, door gunners to Hurricane Katrina, some of my own stuff. The rescues that I captured, there's so many more, are just incredible, like way cooler than me. So, but my wife, as a counselor, Christian counselor, I wanted her to be involved.
Yeah.
So she co-wrote with me, where she wraps like all the, I don't know, like the elements that are necessary for normal people to glean from like the jargon of the military.
Yeah.
So it's a good balance. She's awesome.
And weaving kind of the lessons and the messages out of it. Wow. And so when did that one come out?
A year ago.
Oh. And then what's the title of it?
Calm in the Chaos.
Calm in the Chaos.
Yep. And I also, because of that, there's so many more stories. Like these are all untold stories.
Yeah.
I decided to do the Calm in the Chaos podcast.
Oh yeah, I was wondering where that name sounded familiar.
Yeah. So it's just a continuation. And all I am is I sit back and let these people, these heroes, tell their stories. And yeah, it's been cool.
Wow. And so you have a new book out right now. It came out last week.
Yeah, like 1 week ago.
Wow.
Yep. It's called Bloodline of Redemption. And that's my first military thriller. And it borders on historical fiction just because there's things that occurred while I was in that can't necessarily talk about, but through a fiction, I can create a story with alternative outcomes.
Right.
So it's a blend. If you think about Hunt for Red October blended with, I don't know, Into the Void or, some huge mountaineering, because a lot of it takes place on U.S. soil.
Wow.
Of Russian operatives targeting the air crew of a U.S. Navy air crew.
And so do you feel like writing that and being able to use some creative liberty and imagination, was that easier or more fun or just different than writing your first book, Blind Descent?
It's so much harder.
Really?
Not necessarily emotionally,
Yeah.
but just the creative side of it. So a nonfiction, it's a story. You know it, you retell it.
Yep.
Calm in the Chaos, it's real stories. I interview people, I retell their stories. This one has a lot of real rescues and different, combat search and rescue mission sets in it, anti-submarine. A lot of those are real.
Yeah.
Without disclosing any confidentiality or anything. It's totally fine. I mean, everything's vetted by the DoD, so it doesn't matter anyways. But it's tough because now you're creating these stories, and this will be a series. So then it's like not cutting off what number 2 and number 3 will be.
And you got to think of all the plot lines and keep track of it. Where is it going to go?
Yeah, and the research, because you want to make it believable. So I mean, I traveled out to these locations, and even the next one will be in like a lot of it in the Caucasus Range that we had talked about earlier in Russia. So yeah, because you want to be on the ground and like have the smells and the sounds and like.
Because then as the reader, the more you do that, the more when I read it, it can put you right there in it.
Yeah, exactly. And I learned that on my first book with Tyndale, because they're like, okay, Brian, I get it. You crossed a ladder. How are you feeling? And like, I don't know. I just walked across it. Like, okay, but in books, you got, so they're educating me. They're coaching me.
Do you feel like the book Blind Descent in itself was like a therapy?
Yeah.
Of getting it out?
Yeah, all of them that I've done so far, I've noticed, because journaling is so critical in our process, for those that have dealt with trauma and just, I mean, even that haven't dealt, I mean, everyone's dealt with trauma, but at some level, but just journaling is so important because we have so much going on in our head. Getting it out is crazy therapeutic, and it can be dangerously therapeutic as well. So I think coupling that with therapy and, if we're chemically imbalanced, meds, just making sure we're on the right thing, whatever it is for you. I'm not, what works for me doesn't always work for everyone else. I think it's so important.
And I testify by journaling as well. And I've had other guys on the podcast, same thing, that have been through those traumatic situations. And a good description, a guy I had on Sloan in prior episode, he felt like every day it's like pulling the weights out of your head, out of like inside of you, and putting them on paper and getting them out of you every day, whatever you're carrying around.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if your faith is strong, releasing it.
Yeah.
Release. My life verse is Psalm 46:10. Be still, know that I'm God. I've been pinned down at the highest point in South America, which I just soloed and was left by a climber with all his gear. So 100 pounds.
Wait, what happened? Tell me this story. We didn't even get to this one.
I ended up knocking him out once I got down to 14.
Oh man. So what mountain was this?
I feel bad for that, by the way, just for the record. At the time I didn't though. Aconcagua.
All right. So, all right. This is a whole nother one. So Aconcagua.
Yeah.
So when was this?
2013.
2013.
Yep.
All right. So walk me through that.
Yeah. It's a 2.5 week expedition, 23,000 feet. It's up there. And just went up, ended up soloing. I was with another guy, and he was guiding someone else. Got back down to high camp, and he just left everything there.
And you guys were supposed to be working together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't make the summit, so you'd wait there, and then we'd go down. But there's 100-mile-an-hour winds that were starting to kick up. So I'm like, I'm not going to stay here. So I grabbed 100-pound of gear. After going to 23,000 feet, I mean, you lose weight. You're just exhausted. Made it down. He continued down. So I found a camp, and 100-mile-an-hour winds. The tent was collapsing on me all night. I'm anchored off to massive boulders, and it's dragging me. So I'm like back against the wall, and made it through the night. And all night, I just said, be still.
Whoa.
Still. Know that I'm God. I know that you're here. Just all night long. I just repeated that.
So why did he leave his gear at high camp?
Because people are assholes.
So did you finally catch up to him at base camp?
14. So it takes days to get, and the trek is huge. So the next day at 14,000, so like 5 miles, I cruised down. And
So what was that like when you finally caught up to him?
I think I broke his jaw.
Really?
Yeah, he was out. A big dude too. I didn't even know I had that strength because I was, from the day prior to that, but you find that strength.
So like walking up to him as soon as you saw him, or what happened?
Yeah, he came back. He was like, "Oh, hey, dude." And like,
They just decked him.
yeah.
Oh man, he deserved it.
I feel, yeah.
Wow. So he came to, and then you guys made up, or not talking, or?
No, we still had to hike out for a couple of days together. My family was flying in because we were going to go to an orphanage together. My kids were really young, and we were in Mendoza for another week and just made it a vacation. And
Wow.
yeah.
And so he took it. He was like, all right.
Yeah, he was just like apologetic and everything else, just like, but yeah, it's interesting, when someone's knocked out and they're like coming out of it, they can barely stand up because they keep falling back over. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of fun to watch, but he knew I was in a mood. So
it was a little bit satisfying at the time, probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've made up since.
And so that was 2013, you said?
Yep.
And so that was 2 years after this incident with Mount Everest?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So yeah, you got right back on the horse.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I was trying to finish the 7 summits.
And so was that the 7th?
No, I finished. So like I said, I've never stood on top of Denali, but I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Like I've climbed it, just haven't summited it. The last one I did was Kosciuszko in Australia. It's like 7,000 feet, but I had my kids and my wife do it with me. So we all did it together.
Wow.
And I think it was winter time there, maybe. I don't know. It was snowy and icy and windy. So it's kind of, there's like a walkway that goes to the top. It's like 5 miles or something. It's not crazy. But my daughter at the time, like one of her stories, she would tell people like, yeah, my dad was talking to another climber that came by, and his corner of his eye, he saw me just slide across on the ice. And he just reaches out, didn't even look at me, just grabs me and still talking.
Wow. How did they do on that? What was their experience?
That's great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Had a good time. We got hot chocolates at the end once we got down. And yep.
And it's like, all right, kids, this is your mini Mount Everest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they've had, their resume is pretty impressive of just the adventures they've had. Like Emily had, before she was 13, had been to 6 of the 7 continents, did a mission trip down in South Africa. And
wow.
so yeah, they've done quite a bit. my son Jordan, we did Mount Whitney.
Well, and before we wrap up, we were just off camera for a minute. If you don't mind me asking, I know that for the Everest hike, maybe for the other ones too, but you had to record a video just in case you didn't make it.
Yep. Yeah, it's the hardest thing I've done. Yeah, it's just, I think it's the right thing. Like I always put together like a scavenger hunt because the kids were young.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have a friend text the kids or text my wife, and then the kids, they would go and search for like toys or notes or stuff that I had. Everest was tough. It was a 2-month expedition. Like a 1 week is one thing. But for that one, I decided to write a video just in case something outside of my control took me out. And it was tough. I just sat in my office and hit record and bawled my eyes out, stopped recording, hit record again. I couldn't. And then at some point I just had to just record it. Like tell my kids a little bit of wisdom and, something. It's tough in those moments. It's probably worth just people that aren't going to climb Everest do that. Just so much self-reflection and just kind of almost gives you a map of, what your kids would want to see of a future you.
And you're really, you're facing your mortality and the future without you, possibly.
Yep.
I know it reminded me whenever my dad passed away a few years ago, he had cancer, and we were in the hospital, and I was sitting with him, and before it got too bad, I wanted to do that. I wanted to record a video and kind of have him talk and tell him about himself. So like he would never see my kids, his grandkids, but so they would have a video to kind of know who he was, but we never got around to it. So whenever I saw that, I mean, you're right. Whether you're climbing Mount Everest or not, I think that's a really good thing to have you on record.
Probably, hopefully it should be the hardest thing you ever do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good thing to throw in a vault.
Mm-hmm. You got an incredible story, man. I was really excited to have you on today.
Thanks.
Whenever you're talking to people and you're sharing this message, what do you really want to leave them with after they hear your story?
Yeah, it's a challenge because I don't want them to see it as they just sat down for a movie and then they walk out and, temporarily inspired or whatever. I truly want them to see the miracle that God had in my life. And getting through it was an impossible situation. Like I don't think I could do it again unless it was God's plan. And I think I'm graced to be here and to be able to share that. But I hope the takeaway is, faith and focus. Like you have to focus on, taking that, find a reason to survive, take one more step forward, no matter what you're going through. And just, you have to rely on God.
Yeah.
You have to release whatever you're going through, give it to Him, trust in Him. And I heard it recently that everything tough that we've been through in life, you look back and 100% of the things that we thought were tough or impossible, we made it through. That led us to now. So it's kind of getting that perspective. And I think we all need that to get, to move forward.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, I thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody.